she writes, she makes art, she composes, she challenges the realities and self-comfort all the time. She is Liu Sola, a woman who wears many hats. Liu started in the 1980s as an author, just as China opened up to the outside world, yet she was not indulged in simply being a big name, but prefers to play with artistic genres. The goal, when you ask her, is simple: to be free-spirited. That's what makes her really happy as an artist. I visited her home, which is also her studio, in the suburbs of Beijing, right before she tours with longtime collaborators around the world as Liu Sola and Friends Ensemble. We started our conversation from, well, 30 years ago. China was on its path of rapid development. I guess for you, as a young woman then, it must be a very different experience, as an artist too.
Yeah, it was really so much opportunities, but then there's lots of opportunity can be good and bad. Both, you know, like for me, I thought I didn't really care that much about all those opportunities coming, you know, through you. Like any young artist there, young people, that you get so many trends. Like everything can throw to you, from inside China, outside China, that time. But you have to be careful. So I was very careful.
What were your standards then?
To be honest to myself, honest to people. If I continue something, even I'm not happy about it, I better just stop, not to lie to the audience. Your work, for example, is really about yourself or about your friends. I mean, it is a story about the Chinese modern music group, you know, in a way. I just wonder how your friends reacted to your work. They probably could identify one or two of their own stories in it. Yes, most of it, they're very happy. And sometimes they feel very, like, suspicious. What are you talking? What are you trying to do with us? Yeah.
At that time, Chinese modern music, if we use that phrase, was pretty much similar to the 1940s America.
Not America, it's European. So we were repeating the 1940s modern music tradition in China. The special thing about China is because we had many years isolated for music education. Our generation was really the most lucky generation in the conservatory, because at that time conservatory teachers, they were very open, also really help us to develop our imagination. We get a lot of help from the teachers, and the library was open. We can go digging. Curiosity, my composer classmates, they all really very curious young composers. The good thing about them is that they want to create their own, own style based on who they are. They already have the conscious that who they are. Usually, for students, it takes a long time. You study the knowledge of music, study technique of music, then after graduation, then you create your own style. But for us, it was like everything shrunk in a few years. We have to immediately develop our own style, and at the same time, there's so many knowledge from outside. You grab it without actually too much judgment, just grab it in a few years, and then so much knowledge also about Chinese music, also about
everything together.
So it's hard for us actually to absorb and create at the same time. But I think some of them, they really did well.
And you did well too.
I did well after I graduated. For me, even the modern music was too established for me. By that time, that's what I feel, instantly I feel, because anything established, I have questions. I think that time I was young, I was rebellious, I was living in the time, the moment. I love rock and roll.
That is well known.
Yeah. I feel rock and roll was more like fits my personality, fits what I want to say.
Better than the modern music.
Modern music was too old for me that time. Even there was a new for Chinese composer, but still I feel too old for me. Immediately after graduation, I switched to rock and roll.
Do you still like that music when you you know,
it's
certainly.
over. It's over. For
It's
me.
over.
It's
really
over. It's old.
Why? Why is it old for you? Why is it old for you?
After I went to England, I find that it's too old. I really was mixed with British rock and roll people. Then I start to understand rock and roll history. And then I start to meet those legendary rock and roll people. Then I find that mentality also doesn't fit me. Then I switch to jazz. Then I meet Ornette Coleman. He really opened the door for me. He doesn't even talk about music. He told me that music, this word is too old. Sound. I remember he said, hey girl, we don't talk about music anymore. We talk about sound. You remember this word, sound. I think that's very important for artists. You do what you do every day. That's already who you are. It's why you do well, and then you do seriously, and you care about all the details, and then you think about what you do. That's already, you've done a lot. You don't need to think about the big title and the big thing and big. I don't think about big picture.
But you know, think about this a lot. Back in the 1980s, you were this big name among the younger generation of Chinese. And of course, your fields of art has developed so much in different areas. But now people look at you, they would rather describe you as an avant-garde artist, as an outlier. How do you like that?
I don't care. Whatever you describe me, I don't care. In your lifetime, there's always lots of opportunities open to you. You choose your position, it's your decision. One step you choose wrong, then you go to a wrong way. That's what I know. I knew this when I was young. There's something there can encourage you to be very ambitious. I saw that as a danger. I would refuse. I don't go, you know, I don't go for ambitions. I go for detail.
Very interesting. I like that. Everything you said, I love that. But you know, when you think about it, the further you walk away from the so-called mainstream, the further you, quote-unquote, don't care, the fewer companion you could have, possibly. So I guess it has a lot to do with, you're waving your head.
No. Let's say, I sometimes really feel very surprised that I have so many friends. Like the other day, this exhibition in Tokyo Gallery, you heard. There's so many artists showed, and then show their support, and they all accepted this live broadcast interview.
Which is not easy for artists usually.
So many artists, they all talk very enthusiastically about it. Actually, it's not about me. They all talk about the idea, their idea of art. I think they all looking for something happen to use this chance to talk about their own idea. There's most of the people, what I feel, actually, the most artists most artists are outside. And even some of you think they're inside, they actually are outside.
But you really think about it, if we talk about rock and roll, this music has become such a commercialized genre these days. So you see these festivals everywhere.
Now it's not can't be part of the art scene.
Yeah. And secondly, if you think about jazz, it is also becoming quite commercial. You see, you know, jazz festivals,
well,
different kinds of...
traditional jazz, but free jazz is a part
Still,
of art. Yeah.
Right. And you think about the other areas that you've been working on, even Chinese contemporary art. It is also very commercialized these days on the international stage, particularly.
But only a few. People always look at that a few. A few made a big fusion, big success, big money. And you think everybody like that. It's not. I don't call it a struggle. People always think if artists don't make enough, they call it a struggle. It's not. I don't look at, oh, you have less money, you struggle. You don't struggle. And we are happy because there's so many people in the world, most of artists, they just happily do what they do.
You're happy about what these days?
I'm just happy about everything. Like people think, oh, you still work and you still work so hard. Oh, they kind of sympathize with me. Yeah, you know, people just like to retire early, talk about either big success or, you know, or big money or happy, easy life. Don't work.
But that's not you.
No, I don't see myself doing that. I see myself will be working my music all my life. And when I take my musicians tour and travel, people said, God, are you happy about this? I said, I'm so happy. As soon as I see them, I'm happy. Of art in China, this moment, because by accident, a few artists made big name and big money. And then we have this very kind of a rough idea, like a
stereotypes.
Also blurred idea about the world, about the international world. They think everybody should live like or if you do film, you should live like Hollywood film stars. Or you do art, you should be the celebrity for artists. You don't know there's so many happy artists. They just happy about what they do. When I was in England, there's a Baroque music movement. You know, Baroque music movement, I think probably started 60s, 70s. It's early music style. Many musicians involved with Baroque music style not because you make money, because you like it. Because you're bored with a very conservative, not conservative, ordinary orchestra style, like a romantic music style. They want to go back to early music style, so that's why they switched to Baroque music. And then like about 90s, and the Baroque music become very popular, mainstream again. So then I saw some Baroque musicians actually quit their job. I asked them, I said, now you try so hard to be Baroque musician. After a long time now, this job become you can make easy money, and you become mainstream. And they quit. Some just quit, said too commercial, we won't do it. So it's actually really inspiring. Like you see lots of musicians, they just like to be in their hometown doing something they like, or they go to do church music, they go to church to do concert. They don't have ambitions, we have to perform in metropolitan, this doesn't have this concept.
So as artists, you don't like ambitions?
I think ambitions make you very unhappy. I saw some especially for, like some Chinese musicians, they really feel if you don't achieve this big goal, like become the top in the world, then you basically shit. That's for maybe the education in China, like the competition.
You're either the winner or the loser.
Yeah, you should die if you lose. There's so some of my friends really have influence of that. I feel that I see their life ruined. Yeah, so I saw their life, you know, like journey. I saw how they've been ruined by ambitions. So that's why, and also I learned from really the majority artists from the whole world. They live happily. They know how to live happily.
I want to ask you about the free spirit.
Yes, yeah.
Because
yeah.
that's, in fact, one of the very few adjectives that come to my mind when I think about an interview with you. How could one individual at any time of her life always striving for free spirit, whether she is quote-unquote traditional sense successful or she's quote-unquote traditional sense silent? How could that happen?
Free spirit is something here, you know. I don't say you refuse successful and you don't refuse success. But even when you're in the middle of success, you can still keep your freedom, your free spirit. You can anytime, you know, anytime you can say no. I think it's not about your, you know, like if you're already in the circle, the successful circle. This is a trick. And then people give you the chance to say, now you're in this very important position, you can't say no. Most people don't dare to say, oh God, I worked so hard in my life. I'm finally here. If I say no, everything gone. But once, if you force yourself to say yes, then you're going to be forced all your life. If you can say, anytime I can say no, and there's always a door open for you. Offer me, asking me, do you want to perform in the stadium with your ensemble? I said, no, it's too big.
It's not good for the long run.
No, it's like too tiring. It's too much hassle.
So this is interesting, Sola. I mean, on the one hand, you're always working. You're always working for something you believe is important to you, to your art. On the other hand, you don't like to be quote-unquote tired and exhausted.
I don't want to
please
trick
the other. Can many afford this kind of free spirit as you do in China? I mean, after all, people would say, you're coming from a very special family. You yourself went to the United States very early in your years. You saw a lot of things. You come back, you're materially affluent, and therefore you can do anything that you want. And you got your friends who admire you because of what you have done throughout the years. So you seem to have everything, and you can say, oh, I'm free-spirited, while the others probably couldn't afford that.
Anything good is a sacrifice to get it. You have to pay the sacrifice. I paid lots of sacrifice. I learned my lessons. So it's a hard decision. You know, then how to learn, because then I have lots of friends overseas. I meet friends, there's some friends like, so either like very successful or really not successful but brilliant. I really value to learn from those musicians, or not artists, artists, musicians, whatever people. Yeah, they teach me, they taught me so many things. You know, like even the most successful artists in the States, they taught me how to keep free spirit. That's one thing I learned from everybody.
Talking about the free spirit, once again, you see the Chinese society changes.
Yeah.
A lot of amazing things happen, but a lot of things remain the same.
Yeah.
How do you, as an artist, at the very beginning until today, try to be conscious about everything going on there?
Yeah.
But at the same time, readjust yourself to be able to get your voice heard and to be able to keep your friends around.
I think actually to get your voice heard, it was never my concern. if you know, that's why there's one example. When I was writing You Have No Choice, I thought I just gave to 20 people. I thought I just type out, you know, like at time it even doesn't have type. I just write it down and then
And copy them?
Copy 20 copies, give to 20 for my friends. If they read it, said, oh, it's interesting, fun. That's it. That's all I was wish. I didn't know it become like this. So that's why from my own experience, I feel there's lots of things happens without knowing. Like if you try too hard, actually, it ruins your spirit. It ruins your whole life. Eventually, even you may get it. When you got it, you probably can't even enjoy it. You know, because you lose too much because of that purpose. But if you do things, you may get something, and then everything happened. You appreciate. That's what I feel. Like it's. I think I can set up an example for the young people to work hard. Just keep doing it. Look at the details. What you do. Just look at this much.
This much eventually will become that much.
Maybe
sometimes.
But even if it doesn't become big, you look at this much
and you enjoy it.
You'll really find that more and more you enjoy things.
Do you think you're typical of Chinese female artists, or very, very different from most of the mainstream?
I don't know. I don't think about this.
Do you care?
I don't care.
I like it. I just like it. Sola, a free-spirited Sola, inside out. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
All the best.
Okay.